It's always a good day if you got new tools in the shop. All right, guys, so we got a new tool in the shop here that we're going to take a look at. ArcCaptain reached out to me again and notified me that they did have an angle grinder out, which I was actually pretty excited to hear about, excited to try it out. So they sent me one. We are going to unbox this now. We'll take a look at what comes in the angle grinder toolkit, and we're going to put it through its paces. I don't expect that this is something that I'm going to be able to tell you guys all the details about today, because this is the type of tool that you need to put through its paces. You need to test it out. There's going to be times where it's going to see abuse, and that's going to be the true test. I'm going to provide you guys with as much information as I can today on my opinion of this tool, and I'll have to give you updates down the road to see, do I like it? Is it holding up? All the above. So let's go ahead and unbox this. Let's see what it looks like and see what it comes with. Ooh, okay. First thing right here. First thing. I love the fact that ArcCaptain provides you with either a cover for your welder or a case. I love that. I love it. I love it. It really kind of irks me when you pay top dollar for a tool and they don't give you a cover or a case. Because in most cases, no pun intended, people want a case. They want to be able to put things away. They want to be able to store it somewhere where they know it is, where they can grab it and go. There's just a lot of reasons it's nice to have a case. The case seems to be pretty good quality. It is plastic. It's rigid. Okay, so it looks like the kit includes 2 batteries, your grinder, the tool to take the wheels off, which I never use, a guard, also never use, and a handle. I'm a type of person that I have to have a handle on my grinder. I love the fact that there's a slot in here for the handle. And to be honest, there are places that require you to have a guard. So it's nice that you can store this in this packaging. So if you do need it, it's there. If you don't need it, you leave it in the case. That's nice. There's an instruction manual here. Looks like it's got English, Spanish, and French. All right, charger. It says fast charger. Maybe we'll time this and see how long it takes to charge a battery. It looks like the way the batteries work is similar to DeWalt and Milwaukee. They do slide and click. So I do like that. Both batteries are 4 amp hour. There is a gauge on the front of these batteries that tells you how much charge they have. I like that. It says both of them are fully charged. All right, the grinder itself. The grinder itself, I like that the safety works the same way as the DeWalt one does, where you push the safety paddle up towards the head of the grinder. It's just more natural to me. That's not one of my favorite things about the Milwaukee grinder, is the safety on it is funky. So I do like the way the safety works on this one. It's quick. You grab the grinder. When you slide your hand over that, it's quick to use it. It's convenient. I like that. Okay, so it looks like the lock button is in the same position as the DeWalt grinder as well. Okay, it looks like it's got a power button on it to turn it on and off. And it's got 3 speeds. So I'll show you guys all this stuff close up here. There's a button on the back of the grinder here. I'm not sure what it does. So let's throw a battery in this bad boy. And I'm actually going to go grab a grinder wheel. And we'll see. Oh, look, it comes with some grinder wheels. Looks like it comes with 2 cutoff wheels and 2 hard grinding discs. All right, it all looks good so far. I'm going to grab a grinder wheel and let's put it on, see what it does. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, so the first thing I don't like, it looks like the Arbor on this grinder is not the same as with American Arbors, and I think this is a 5/8 11 thread pitch on these grinders. It's not the same. So if I go to thread this on with an American disc, so I don't really care for that. I think if we're going to use it here in America, it should have the same threads on it as the grinder discs, because we want to be able to go to Home Depot, grab a grinder disc that's got standard threads and throw it on. So that's the first thing I don't like. One solution to that problem is you can use a grinding disc like this that does not have the threaded fitting on it. So you've got to use the grinder nut. Okay, so it looks like there's 3 speeds: 9,500 RPM, 6,500 RPM, and 3,300 RPM. So there's 33. There's 65. And there is 95. I'll have to look and see what those other battery grinders run at. I wonder what a DeWalt runs at. We'll look and we'll compare. Okay, so the brake on the DeWalt is obviously a lot faster. I think I want to try this out. So I think what I want to do is I want to try beveling a piece of plate, and I'm gonna grind on it the same way I would grind with any other grinder. So I'm not gonna be abusive to it. I'm just gonna use the same pressure that I would use if I was using this DeWalt grinder. We want to give this a true real world test to see how it holds up compared to some of these other brands. So I'll grab some plate and we'll give it a shot. All right, I got a piece of plate here. You see, this is what the edge looks like before, and then I'll give you a look after. Here we go. Okay, it does a good job. It actually seems like it's got good power. So you can see, got a good bevel on that. So I'm actually pretty impressed with the power that it has. It seems to be smooth. We're gonna have to see how the battery life holds up. I'm not gonna just sit here and grind for an hour to try to kill the battery. So on this video, I just kind of wanted to introduce the grinder, show you guys what the kit comes with, kind of go over my initial thoughts, and then I'll give you guys updates on how I feel that it performs. I am going to try a couple other discs. Something else I think I want to do, I'm going to grab a flap disc and we'll clean up the top of this. I'm just going to use this grinder. I want to use this grinder like I normally would use this grinder. So I'm going to grab a flap disc and I'm going to clean the surface of this part up like I normally would. And then I'll grab a zip disc and I'll cut a chunk of this off with the zip disc. And that's pretty much the best test you can give it, is those 3 things right there. That's mainly what I use my grinders for. So let me grab a flap disc and a zip disc. We actually have a couple of ArcCaptain's cutoff wheels, and I'd like to try them and see how they hold up anyway. So we'll test out their cutoff wheel, and then I'll grab a flap disc and we'll run a test and see how it holds up. All right, so I just remembered the only type of flap discs that I run are the type that you can just spin on. I don't run the flap discs where you have to use a grinder nut. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. Hopefully you can see the size difference. So the ones we use in America are this size, and I'm assuming that this one is metric, so that kind of creates a problem. So that's going to be my first complaint. I don't know if it's possible to buy a different Arbor on here and loosen this and swap this piece out for the Arbor that we use here in America, but that would be kind of nice if you could. Since I can't use a flap disc because I don't have that style, we'll go straight to the cutoff wheel. We'll throw this cutoff wheel on there and we'll see how it goes. So the cutoff wheel seems to hold up okay. Oh. Okay, so I just realized what this button's for on the back. Push that button, and you can actually rotate the grinder. So the front end of the grinder can rotate 90 degrees. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty handy. I could see how that could come in handy. Okay. The cutoff wheel seems to work good. I'm halfway through it now, so let's cut the other half. I'm going to rotate this and try it. Okay, there was about normal wear there on the cutoff wheel. Seems like it works pretty good. So, like I said, initial thoughts, I think they definitely got some good things going here. So I'll show you guys there. There's if you just hit the trigger, it'll show you what your RPMs are at and what the battery's at. Looks like we're red. Okay, I lied to you. I believe this light here with the gauge, I'm pretty sure that's temperature. That's actually really cool. This is honestly the first grinder I've seen that has a gauge on it that tells you if you're getting too hot. Typically, that's when you burn up a grinder, is if you're running a cutoff wheel for a long time and it's getting really hot, or you're grinding, you're beveling a lot of pipe, and you're just really exhausting the grinder. That's usually, it'll start getting hot, and then before you know it, it smokes it. So that's actually a really cool feature. I'm impressed by that. This is what the battery gauge looks like. You hit it and it tells you how full the battery is. Looks like we're down 1 bar. If this battery was truly fully charged, that's about average for a battery grinder. My DeWalt's are about like that. If I've got to cut a piece of 3/8 plate that's that wide, plus bevel a piece, top and bottom, I'd probably lose a bar. So far, I'm pretty impressed. It seems like it runs well. It does have power. I can tell you this, I have ran Pittsburgh grinders before, and this is leaps and bounds better than that. I'm pretty excited to put it through its paces. I think that's about all there is to really go over at this point. After I get a little bit of time in the saddle with it, I'll be able to give you guys an honest opinion on how I think it performs. So that's probably going to wrap up our introduction to our ArcCaptain grinder. I'll go ahead and charge the batteries. We'll see how long it takes to charge them. We'll see how long it takes to kill a battery. So there's a lot of trial and error that needs to go on now. All that's left to do is to see what she can handle. What's going on, guys? I don't expect that this is something that I'm going to be able to tell you guys. Let's go ahead and unbox this. Let's see what it comes with. So let's go ahead and unbox this. Let's see it. Typically, that's when you burn up a grinder, is if you're running a cutoff wheel or if you're